FAS. Have you heard of this before? What does it even stand for? FAS is a disorder that stands for fetal alcohol syndrome. Most of you either have children, want children, or have a loved one that maybe one day will have a child, whether that is your spouse, relative, or a loved one. Because of that, it is important to know how consuming alcohol by a pregnant woman can affect the fetus, and that even one drink is not proven to be safe. I have never experienced a child with fetal alcohol syndrome, nor have I ever experienced even a pregnancy. Well, last semester, I took a child development class, which sparked my interest for this topic. My research comes from either online sources that were either reviewed by a medical doctor or written by a medical doctor. FAS does not only take place when the child is a baby, but affects the rest of their life and is the most severe type of disorder. There are ways to prevent it, though. Today I will cover the symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome, how much alcohol is too much, and how to prevent FAS. Now let's move on to my first point. The symptoms of SAS can range from physical defects, brain and central nervous system problems, to social and behavioral issues. Physical defects include facial abnormalities, which can be a small head circumference, a very, very thin upper lip, and an underdeveloped groove between the nose and the upper lip. Physical defects can also include a below average height and weight, and deformities of the joints, limbs, and fingers. Brain and central nervous system problems decrease the child's learning ability. This is because FAS causes poor memory, lack of focus, poor language comprehension, jitterness, and hyperactivity. Social and behavioral issues can include difficulty maintaining friendships, social withdrawal, trouble adapting to change, and impulsiveness. Let me move on to my second point. Some people have heard that just one glass of alcohol won't do any harm, but really, there is no proof that just one glass or any amount is safe during any time of the pregnancy. David Gary, D.O., Associate Professor of Clinical Obstetrics and Gynecology at the Albert Einstein College of Spectrum Disorders Task Force for the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists District, says, "The way I see it, if you wouldn't give a 2-month-old a glass of wine, then why would you drink a glass of wine when you're pregnant? Some doctors say that it is unlikely that a few drinks will affect the baby, but they do not say that it is impossible, and that it is important to take precautions. Of course, there are risks in general when it comes to pregnancy, but to some women, it is an unnecessary risk." Carol Archie, MD, Associate Clinical Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA says, "We know that alcohol impacts brain cells and that the baby's brain is constantly developing throughout the entire pregnancy," she says. "So I would say to a pregnant woman that it's probably best to abstain from all alcohol." Moving on to my final point, how do we prevent FAS? Well, the answer to that question is pretty simple. Just don't consume alcohol while you're carrying a baby. Doctors also recommend not consuming alcohol if you're trying to get pregnant, because sooner than later is better for the baby. They also recommend women to not drink during childbearing years or when having unprotected sex, because an unplanned pregnancy can occur, and damage to the baby starts at the earliest weeks. If you know a friend or a loved one that may be pregnant, the best way to help prevent FAS from their baby is to warn the carrier of the dangers and risks that comes with drinking alcohol during pregnancy. Another way to help prevent it is to not encourage them to drink just one drink here and there, because one can lead to more. It is best to leave alcohol out of sight. To end my speech, fetal alcohol syndrome does not only take place when the child is a baby, but affects the rest of their life, and is the most severe disorder, but there are ways to prevent it. Symptoms can include physical defects, brain and central nervous system problems, and social and behavioral issues. So far, research shows that there is no amount of alcohol that is considered safe, and out of risk for these symptoms. There are many ways to help prevent a child from getting FAS. If that means the pregnant woman stays away from alcohol, or encouraging a loved one who is pregnant to stay away from alcohol. Let's not take unnecessary risks, but let's protect the babies of our future generation. Thank you.